second to look around. I can feel the smiles, let me break it down. Take it up with computer love. Futureland, the plug, hit you with a buzz.
Awesome and amazing day, you all. Futureland 365. It's your girl, Nikki B, here, right here on WOVU 95.9.
And it's your boy, Just Joseph. And we just finished up another great episode today. We had Deidre and Sammy Does It, some amazing artists in the city. So, hey, we ready, and I hope y'all ready, because it's going to be good.
It's game time.
All right, you all. Welcome to Futureland 365 radio and podcast show, where we highlight and spotlight Cleveland's bold innovators, entrepreneurs, and creators. And you all, oh my goodness. This is Nikki B in the building.
And it's Just Joseph, and we got a special show for y'all today.
A special show. What's the name of this show? What's the topic today?
We're going to break it down. The art of thriving.
In Cleveland's creative renaissance.
Yeah, I like that.
I love that,
Cleveland's
right?
creative renaissance. So, yeah, we got some thriving things happening here in the city of Cleveland and in Northeast Ohio. Just some special things that we want to highlight today. And, we got some special guests that we're going to introduce real soon. But first of all, Nikki B, how you feeling?
I feel great. You know, I feel really good.
Cool.
Yeah, I feel good.
All right, well, look, sure.
How about you?
I'm feeling good, too. I think, the energy in the room is great, the
Absolutely.
guests who we got today.
They're excited. We're excited.
Yeah, so I think we're just going to have a good time.
Absolutely. So the two guests that we have, we'll introduce them really quickly. Just so we can jump right in there and get right into it. Yeah, I think so. Let's do it. So our first guest, we have Ms. Deidre McPherson. She's the Chief Community Officer, Assembly for the Arts. Oh, my goodness. Hello, Ms. Deidre.
Hello. Thank you. It's so great to be here.
Glad you're here. So excited. I can feel your artistic energy.
Try to bring it with me everywhere I go. So.
And I could tell, especially from your IG page. It's amazing. Very artistic. I was like, love the outfits and the fashion. Yes,
Come
girl.
on.
I love it.
Come on.
And Joseph, who else do we have in the building today?
We got the one and only Sammy Does It. Welcome, bro. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. Life good. Peaceful.
Life's good.
What I like about these two guests, and they brought the swag with them.
Major swag. Major.
Yeah, you can't be considered a real artist if you don't wear it. That's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Y'all. Your reputation precedes itself, and y'all look good.
I love that.
Appreciate that. Thank
you.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're just gonna have a little fun today. I think the biggest thing I want to know, I'm really big on passion and how you kind of got started in the arts, and what is the thing that has driven you all to what you do now. So I guess we can start with you, Deidre.
Absolutely. I'm happy to start. Well, first off, again, thank you again for having me. How did I get started in the arts? Well, I'm going to give my mother the credit because
Shout out mom.
Shout out to my mother.
Mama, we made it.
She hails from Detroit, and music was her first love.
Oh,
and that was contagious for me. So music, art, and culture were very big in our household. I grew up playing music, so my first love is music also. I'm a classically trained violinist and also piano. I grew up in Cleveland Heights, but I spent every Saturday morning in University Circle at the Music Settlement. So violin lessons, orchestra, and I was usually one of the few, if not the only, black and brown people in the space. And so I think that stayed with me. And fast forward to adulthood, I decided that I wanted a career in arts and culture, and I wanted to be on the business and entrepreneurial side, kind of working behind the scenes. And for me, I've worked in these various spaces. I've worked at some major institutions in the arts. I've worked at, the Cleveland Museum of Art. I was a director of programming there for a while. I was a curator of public programs, which meant I organized events inspired by art exhibits at MoCA. I worked in marketing at the Cleveland Orchestra for a number of years, doing marketing planning and things like that. And the common thread for working at those three institutions for me was that I really wanted these spaces to feel like places of belonging. And for me, working with artists in our community and welcoming them into the space to collaborate and to share and express their talents in the space of these institutions was the thread that really inspired me to want to do what I do now, which is work in advocacy. And arts and culture, it's just one of those things that's, Cleveland is a very racially divided city, and we can be very, very segmented. And when I moved back here, I lived in a couple other places, and I moved back home, it was really important to me that unity aspect, and how do we make these institutions, especially those in the university circle, feel like more places of belonging, so that you feel like you can come, like you can be yourself, like you can enjoy yourself, and where all cultures are represented. It's the Cleveland Orchestra, it's the Cleveland Museum of Art, not Beechwood, not Solent. I mean, those places are important too, but we want it to feel welcoming to everyone. And so that unity aspect was something that was really important to me, and it's what really drives me in the work that I do today at Assembly for the Arts, is really helping with advocacy and supporting not only artists but institutions in the region in thinking about equity and how to make Cleveland a great city of the arts, a great city of equity and inclusion, but also thinking about creative programming and connecting people, artists and cultural workers, in ways that help progress some of these spaces.
Yeah. Wow, that's a great question, Joseph. But Ms. Deidre, wow, I did not know. The violin, I should have known. If you're such a great artist, that you would also have that foundation in musicianship. I think that's amazing. I've always wanted to play the piano, so I think you just inspired or re-inspired something in me, like, I think I need to tap more into learning how to play the violin, the piano, actually. So I think that's great. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, you talk a lot about, the arts and music background and how that ties into diversity, how it ties into, bringing people together. And it's so important because that's like a universal language, right? When people are looking at the culture of art and music, it's like, man, that's one language. That's just beautiful. That's, and that's what this city needs more of, and bringing people together. So I'm gonna throw that to you. The same question, Sammy. How did you get going into what you do, and why are you so passionate about what you do?
All right, so I want to thank you for doing what you do. Yeah, that was beautiful. But let me see. Let my mom tell her I started when I was 3. Doing this, and I went to the School of Arts once I got a little bit older, and I don't know, man. I did the military after high school, and after that was like the last time I wanted to say I worked anywhere, to say the least. And somehow art just fell back into my lap, and I stayed there. So yes, that's just, I don't know. It came and stayed, and that's what I've been passionate about ever since. Well, actually, my passion is starting to change. It's people, just like her telling about herself, and it inspired you for that piano. It's like that's what I'm starting to love, and that's, I don't know, that filled me up more than me creating the painting or selling the painting. It's just people and the interaction and just the human thing.
Yeah.
So
I feel that, bro. Yeah. It's interesting. Like, my journey was, with basketball, and I don't know what really drove me to it, but I always say, man, I didn't find the game found me. And so I see that with you, with art. It's just like, man, I don't know how I ended up here. So it's just something that was already innately birthed in me. Yep. So I think that's amazing, and just seeing you. I mean, your art inspires me, bro. Like, I've looked and watched some of your, art, and checked out your page even earlier today, and I was just like, wow. And I see you also have a heart to give back. So that's awesome, man. So, we just want to, also applaud you here on this show. You know what I'm saying?
There we go. We love that.
So it's good stuff.
Giving people applause while they can hear them, right?
Yeah.
And appreciate them. We love that. That's what we do here on Futureland 365. And I really love how you're saying how your passion is changing to people. I think a lot of times we do things and we think on the surface, like, or surface and selfishly, like, this thing is for me, it's to serve me. But really, when you do 7 layers, or you start really asking yourself why, or doing things on the deeper level, you realize it's really for service right? It's the servitude. Yeah. And that is the best feeling. Yeah. And the more problems that you're able to solve, especially with what Ms. Deidre is talking about, creating that equity and making sure the unity is there and making sure people feel like they are appreciated and needed, right? That's so important. And that's how collectives and initiatives and organizations actually really stay together, right? When the individual feel as if though they're valued and appreciated in those places. So I think that's so important, and I'm glad that you shared that, because that just proves a point why Futureland 365 is so important to have artists and creatives and innovators as yourselves as guests here to highlight and to show other people, especially our young people like just Joseph, as he talks about all the time.
I am the youth.
Right? As also as he shares with younger individuals too, hey, there are people out here who are doing what you don't even know what you want to do, right? But you want to do something like that. But here, let's show you some different aspects of that. So yeah, thank you all for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that basic information so far, because we have some more questions.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
well,
goodness.
I mean, just getting right into that, like what you both represent is why Futureland 365 is so important.
That's
because it's so many people who are looking for these different avenues of how do I express myself. They might not even know what's possible out there, right? And so that's what, and it's so diverse, right?
Very
we bring
much
in
so.
tech innovators, we
Tech
bring in
innovators,
artists, we
and
bring in entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
different people from all different walks of life, and they have something valuable to bring to the table. So I want to talk a little bit about this because, for me, I appreciate the art in the city. I think Cleveland has some like really hidden gems, but I'm not so deep into the art community, or I wouldn't know like where to go or what Cleveland really has to offer if I was like deeply entrenched in that. So can we talk a little bit about the Cleveland scene in general, for the creative arts side of it?
Oh, I'm happy to talk about that. I could talk about that all day.
Oh, you all should have seen how her face just lit up. It was like beaming over here.
Going. Bring me into your world. Like, I want to know. Like, I'm hyped now.
I've been so blessed to work in arts and culture, and I think that Cleveland is really unique. I love that we are such an underdog city, and I love talking to people who are new to Cleveland or haven't been here before, and answering questions like what you just asked me. So thinking about what makes Cleveland special and unique in terms of the arts scene here, it's vast. There's we have incredible visual artists in the city who are doing solo exhibitions at galleries or group shows. They're musicians who are music producers and composers and vocalists. The music scene is incredible. We got all types of great music venues that support showcasing that talent. We also have, the second largest theater district in the United States after New York City.
Shout out Cleveland.
Not a lot of people know that. We're ahead of Chicago in terms of the number of theater venues that we have that are showcasing Broadway shows or avant-garde or experimental or new productions. We have one of the best film festivals in the country. The Cleveland International Film Festival.
In the country, you all.
Right?
Don't zoom past that.
And then in the country.
Drop a bomb on hold on.
In the country.
And then on top of that, we have the Greater Cleveland Urban Film Festival, showcasing Black film. We also have dance. We have incredible dance ensembles that are choreographing things and activating spaces with movement. What else am I leaving out? We got dance theater. So it's the literary arts scene. Creative writers and journalists and poets and spoken word artists. When we think about arts and culture in Cleveland, it's very special because there are numerous people in each of the fields that I mentioned in the arts and then some. And that's not even that's just talking about individual artists. When you think about the arts ecosystem, we also have nonprofit organizations that are doing great things, from as large as the Rock Hall and the Cleveland Museum of Art or the orchestra, and then some grassroots organizations and small organizations that are doing incredible and very necessary work in our communities and creating experiences that are enriching people's lives and enriching our communities and making Cleveland a great place to live. And so it's really impressive if you're not from here, especially. And I think if you're from here as well and you may not be as connected to the art scene, it's really an essential part of our life and a really important part of our economy. Yeah. In the state of Ohio, the creative industries make up about $7.5 billion with a B dollars, and that's jobs. That's jobs that artists and creative entrepreneurs are creating, and that's helping Cleveland to grow. Yeah. And it's helping to add energy and life to our neighborhoods in ways that, what makes a great city? Great neighborhoods, right? And when you're able to go to, different neighborhoods and you feel, there's theater, there's food, there's music, there's visual art, there's public art and things like murals all over the region. I mean, Cleveland is an arts town, and I think when people come and they visit here, they're impressed and they're surprised, and they don't think. Like, I had someone, I was in Miami recently. I was down there for Miami Art Week, and I met a photographer there, and he was like, yeah, I've been to Cleveland. He was like, I didn't know Cleveland had black people.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm like, oh, you got to come back. You really got to come back because, Cleveland is a black city. I mean, there's so much going on here, and people outside of the region are always pleasantly surprised. And so I love showing people around Cleveland and taking them to some of the gems, the hidden gems, and then the more obvious ones. But Cleveland's art scene is definitely alive and well, and it continues to grow. You're hearing more people talk about Renaissance, more people talking about the creative economy. That means it's growing, and it's going to continue to grow, and that's what Assembly for the Arts and is really trying. Our mission is really on growing the arts sector and growing the amount of investment and getting more people to and organizations, corporations, all of them investing in the arts sector, because artists see the world differently in a way that we need to see. And I think more people are starting to realize that, and that's contributing to that momentum.
Well, you just threw the perfect lob.
Perfect lob.
Like
we were thinking the same thing.
How they see the world from a different perspective than most people. So what is your perspective on this Cleveland art scene and what we have to offer, and how have you found yourself in this community?
All right, my perspective, I'm loving it. Everything she just said. We haven't talked much, but I fell in love just hearing the passion about it.
I mean, that she spoke it just as a chief community officer, just truly, absolutely.
I love that. But I'm loving what's happening. It's like I used to be one of the artists, and I just want to be open, but one of the ones who thought Cleveland wasn't the place for artists. To grow. It's like I felt like I had hit a cap and all that. But I wish I could tell people how to navigate through that. But it's just sometimes life just happened, and it's just before I knew it, all these doors start opening up, and you just got to get out and move around. And I realized that, start meeting the right people or just different people. And life is good, man. Cleveland, but this art scene is getting crazy. It's like I can list. I don't know how many different artists that I see actually thriving and just changing the game. It just feels good. I'm going through this thing right now where I think I am a part of a lot of stuff, but I still like to see myself on the outside of it and look at everybody else. But just how I see all these artists coming up, it's just crazy what Cleveland is becoming. The work that you're doing and everybody else that's involved. So,
well, what is it about being from this city? How does it influence your art? Because a lot of times you hear different things about, if you can make it in Cleveland, you can make it anywhere. You know what I'm saying? The grittiness that comes from, growing up. I know in sports world, it definitely helped me, because I don't care where I go, New York, Chicago. If I go out to the West Side, it's like, hey, y'all ain't, you know what I'm saying? It's a chip that we carry from here. So how does that influence your art?
It's just the confidence is through the roof. Maybe I had an ego problem before, but now it's not. It's just, it's just the confidence. I always say this place is like flannel season or working construction. It's like and that's the grittiness of it. So it's like once you can get through those seasons, and we got all these rough seasons, and you can put people in that category. You got different seasons of people. You know, somebody might seem like the worst winter. You got the hottest summer, all this stuff, and it's just you become well rounded here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that's what it is.
Awesome.
Yeah, I agree there with the resilience. That's where your genius is built in the hard times, right? Your genius is not proven or built in the summer season or the spring, right? It's really in those hard times. So with that being said, I think that we should, take a little break real quick. And we'll be right back, you all. I think we're going to take a little time, regroup, regather.
Sounds good to me.
And with that, you all, we'll be right back.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Futureland 365, the radio show and podcast. And we have been just rolling. We got some amazing guests in here today, and they've been breaking down the art scene for us. And if you're just now tuning in, our topic today is the art of thriving, Cleveland's creative renaissance. And they just been flowing and breaking down the art scene today. We have Ms. Deidre and Sammy Does It, and they have been phenomenal guests. And Sammy was just explaining to us before the break on how, he at first he didn't know if Cleveland was the place that was going to really be where he needed to be to get all the support that he needed. But then he found that breakthrough, and we were talking about just endurance and how you have to just, create and keep, staying focused and locked in. But there's some dark days associated with that, Talk a little bit about that, just the journey to withstand and keep going.
This may be some other off the wall thing, but a couple years ago, I read this book, The Four Agreements, and
I read that too. It changed my life.
it literally changed my life. I'm not even that type of reader person, but it literally did. It just taught me how to have that, whether it was faith in myself or just I don't know, life is just peaceful. So when you realize these dark days, it's like normally the sun do come back out, whether it's eventually a week later, 2 days later. And I just learned how to just accept things that came. And, that was the biggest thing for me. I don't think it was a person or this or that. It was just once I did this acceptance thing of myself and seeing what I needed to change or whatever it was, those light days came. So if I can say that, read that book if you got the time.
That's good.
Yeah, I think that's important too. A lot of times we think that things externally need to change, or people around us need to change. But really, the truth of the matter is that you need to agree within yourself. Your heart and your mind need to align. Is that a bar, Joe? I think that was a bar.
I might have to steal that one from you. I might have to take that.
Your heart and your mind need to align in order for you to make the moves that you need to make, right? Yeah. So you have to agree within yourself. And then all of a sudden, although they were already there, right? Those opportunities start pouring in, or those doors just start coming open, windows opening, people walk up to you, or people email you or shoot you a text message and say, hey, are you available? Have you thought about, or this is available, da, da, da. And it's like, wait a minute, where is all this happening? It's because you agree within yourself, and those things opens up for you. Absolutely. Go ahead, Sam.
And also, it was just the focus. When you're in the dark time, when you focusing on the negative stuff, that's what it is. Like you said, all this was already here.
Yeah.
Once you, start focusing on something, positive or up, it's like, now this person with this hat on sticks out, because that's a positive light versus just focusing over here and what's not right.
Well, what was that like big breakthrough moment for you in your art? That had you be like, okay, I can really do this. I see the light at the end of the tunnel, or that thing that happened for you. You like, okay, no, this is it.
It was literally that book. It's like, and the thing in that book was to be impeccable with your words. And for me, I just start switching the way I talked. It was just all positive talk.
That's good.
From then on out, and but again, I'm not trying to sell a book, but it was like I didn't take so personal.
That was it for you. So please. Sure.
The not taking it personal was the biggest thing. It's like, you know, if I had somebody who I thought did me wrong, or it's like, why didn't they help this way or this or that? It's like me not taking it personal and just looking at them for them. It's like that's probably what's going on in their world, and you know, maybe that works for them. And once I was able to flip that, it's like, I don't hate this person. You know, he's just living his life maybe different from me. Right. And it's like, you know, it's all good.
That's a very important lesson for all of us, man, not to take things personal, because you know, people could rub you the wrong way, but you don't know what they going through, and you don't know how they was thinking. They probably didn't even mean it that way. But specifically, bro, because I've been checking out your art, bro, you know, for some time now. You've been doing this for some time. So what was the artwork that specifically was like the pop-off moment for you?
So I do know I had one piece where I thought I was done. You know, I couldn't create nothing, and even in that year or two, it's like I've been doing this my whole life, but as a career since like 2012, maybe. And so the fact that I couldn't create for like a year, that was scary. But I finally just had to accept, you know, the journey. Yeah. And I forgot what was my comeback piece. I think it was like this Basquiat piece. It was called 1988, and that was one of my styles where I do like this big eye and big hands and all that. And I think that was the comeback piece. It was something about that one that said, you know, this is it. And it's just like, yes, I haven't stopped since.
Sammy does it.
Again, I never thought I had these stories, but I do.
There you go, man. That's what perseverance does, man. So we gotta show you some love on that
again, brother.
Perseverance. But I will say this: the Cleveland scene should not have to be that hard as it was for you, you know. But it is something about being a trailblazer. You know, there's so many amazing artists in the city, and a lot of them have a similar starting journey. But how can we better support artists? And I think I want to throw this to you. How can we be a better supporting cast to our talent that we have here in the city?
Oh, so how much time we have now? I think that's a really important question. How do we make Cleveland a great city of the arts? And a big segment of that is, how do we make it a city where artists want to live here because they really feel like they have the resources to thrive here? And I think we have, you know, I think a lot of folks are tapped into resources, but there are just as many who are not and need support around that. And you know, you hear people talk about brain drain, you know, when Cleveland's population was declining. We don't want to see that in any sector, but we're talking about the arts today. We don't want people to feel like they have to go to another part of the country, to New York or Los Angeles, Miami, et cetera, in order to make it. And I think that connectivity is a big part of that. And I'm using connectivity as an umbrella term to talk about a lot of different ways that our communities can be more connected, especially for artists, for them to have easy access to the major things that they need access to. So, for example, artists need a place to create their work and to showcase their work affordably. So access to affordable space is a persistent challenge, not only in Cleveland for artists, but in other cities as well. But what we're doing in Cleveland is we're looking at some of the solutions that are in other parts of the country. What can we replicate here to make affordable live and work space easy to access in Cleveland? So that's a major challenge, and you know, that involves policy, that involves conversations with a wide variety of organizations who may not be in the arts, but who are allies in the work, and they realize that the arts sector is important. For example, I just got a call or email today from someone from Cuyahoga County main office downtown, and this person is in city planning, and they're interested, how can we better support the arts ecosystem?
That's awesome.
So that's coming from leadership at the county level. So they care and they recognize this renaissance, and so that's an ongoing conversation. Another major need that artists have is access to funding. So we all know artists, you're not just creators, you're also entrepreneurs. You're creative entrepreneurs. You need access to capital. How do you access the funding to sustain your art? And how do you think about your creative practice in a way where you have multiple income streams coming in, so that, I mean, it's okay if you're also working a part-time job at a cafe, or you're cleaning houses, or you might have other ways of making money, but the goal, right, the end goal is to make your art full time and have the flexibility to do that, because you have security, financial security. So that's a topic that we advise artists on quite a bit in thinking about things like fiscal sponsorship. You know, maybe you want to access grant funding, but you're not quite sure how to do that, and you're not a nonprofit. Maybe you're not interested in ever being a nonprofit, but knowing how to navigate some of those things, like pursuing fiscal sponsorship to work with a nonprofit that you might want to collaborate with, to think about how you as an artist can use their 501c3 status to get access to grant funding, because you have to be a nonprofit to get grants from foundations, et cetera. So that's, for example, like a capacity building type program that we offer for artists who want to scale up their work and be able to have easy access to grant funds. That capacity building work. Should I go on, or like? No,
I love it. Yeah, keep going if you got more.
I mean, also, I think creative spaces are incredibly important. I'm a huge fan of creative meetups. I'm looking over here at Alicia Ellis, who's here. Thank you for the invitation, Alicia. Spaces like creative meetups are incredibly important, and what I love about creative meetups is that it's for all creatives. It's not just a visual artist. It's about if you identify as a creative, it's a space for you. And this is a monthly event that brings all types of creatives together, and it's creating support for one another. It's sharing resources for one another. It's hanging out. It's being emotional support. You know, being an artist can be scary. If you're early in your career, you want to meet folks who are later in their career, who could be mentors for you, who can advise you, who can encourage you. And so those spaces like creative meetups are important for encouraging that type of community, that you're not alone in this, and there are people here who care. And I enter spaces like that because I'm always meeting new creatives, and I want them to know that there are people who are involved in policy. So when I talk about policy, it's thinking about some of the systems that are in place that are making it difficult for artists or difficult for neighborhoods to be more embrace the arts more. And so thinking about things like working with particular neighborhoods or cities. Everyone wants an arts district nowadays. Why? Because they help drive the economy. They help make a neighborhood attractive, beautiful, cool. It feels good. When you go to New York, where do you want to go? You want to go where the energy is. And where is the energy? It's where the artists are. So you can't have an arts district without artists. And so thinking about the resources that are needed for a neighborhood to embrace arts and culture, to embrace entrepreneurship, to embrace just placemaking. Thinking about placemaking and making a neighborhood great. It's just, when you think about the arts sector, the policy that's needed to advance some of these ideas and convince those who are not in the know about how powerful arts and culture can be to a city. I just came from Miami Art Week, and if you've never been to Miami Art Week, it's like the Super Bowl of the art world. Wow. There are people from all over the world, and it's all about the visual arts, but it's also there's music, there's parties, there's the whole city of Miami just comes alive. Well, I was there with the city of Cleveland. So like Mayor Bibb's administration appointed a city leader specifically for arts, culture, and the creative economy. So it's I love that that arts and culture has been embraced at the city level, and that there's this investment to support artists expanding their careers outside of Cleveland, places like Miami. We were down there to see how Miami comes to life with this week-long event, and we were also there showcasing about half a dozen artists' work at an art gallery there. So it was just an incredible opportunity for us to think about helping artists to expand their careers outside of Cleveland. And that's also incredibly important because, yes, there are resources in Cleveland, but there's also opportunities outside of Cleveland. And we want to think about the local and the national. We want artists like Sammy to be international, but also come back home. So
they be leaving and they don't coming back. We gotta make sure you come back, brother.
Live here. This is your primary residence. Go visit and come back. Share what create some art maybe that you've explored on the outside or in different states and cities.
And then bringing other artists here. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
From other places, let them know we got a lot to offer here in Northeast Ohio. So you talked a lot about connectivity, affordability, access, even educating people on the different opportunities and grants and how to get funding. And then creating a space for artists. This is what Futureland is about. And that's why we're so happy to have your voices up here. And we talk about, Mayor Bibb being such a supporter of, Futureland in art. And so we can't talk about Futureland without talking about the future. So we're like, Sammy, I want to kind of, pivot to you on this. Like, where do you see the future of Cleveland and art, like in the next 5 years? Like, what can you see, and what do you want to see?
I think they both wrapped in the same. What I want to see and where I think it's going is just, the neighborhoods, all these different arts districts. Like we finally, I feel like artists finally getting our shine, and maybe that's just my generation of artists. But yeah, man, it's like we starting to pop. It's like a lot of different organizations or even people that's giving artists platforms, and I just see like all these incubators just starting to grow. And, each individual person is almost taking on their own, them growing legs and this is growing legs, so it's just we starting to spread. So yeah, I finally feel like we getting the voice and just some type of light on us. Just like we big kids,
Yeah.
And we just get to run around with crayons, man.
Yeah,
that's so important. Yeah, for kids for adults to be kids, right? Again, that's when your light is shined. And I love how you're saying that everyone is popping. I love that.
Yeah, they are.
And I'm definitely seeing that with different events that I go to. The last, what was that, Futureland last year. All of the artists and all of the things that were exhibited, that was amazing, right? All of the connections that were made there. So that's exactly what we're talking about here at Futureland 365, is to have that conversation and those connections to happen all the time.
And for those listeners out there who listen in and enjoying these type of conversations, make sure y'all follow us on our different platforms. We on Instagram, we are on YouTube.
We're on Facebook.
Subscribe. Yeah, Facebook.
FuturelandCLE.com.
Man, come on now. You gotta make sure
Click
you tune
to get
in.
the newsletter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, share, subscribe.
These guests have been phenomenal. And I'm enjoying this conversation. How about
this
you?
is a really good conversation. Sammy, I think you have something.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to shout out.
Don't say
people.
Sorry.
Yes, A.D. Jackson, he got Lounges, CLE. That's like a nice incubator space.
Yes.
And Ilthy, the people, the team over there, they been putting artists, just in front of different people. You know, and again, it's a lot that's happening, but I just want to shout them out. It's like they are just like I was a part of a show at City Hall.
Please let everyone know about that.
So beautiful.
Let
Black History Month show.
About that. What was the name of the show and what happened there? Let everyone know.
All right, I gotta be real, y'all.
Go ahead.
But, so that it was artists run the streets. Like that's something that they're doing for the artists, and I think that's cool. But it was pretty cool. It's like I'm excited to show anywhere where I'm at in life. I appreciate. I got the attitude of gratitude, so I want to put that out there too. Just if you can have that, everything else I think fall in line. And so just had an attitude of gratitude. But the show was tight. I was late. It's something about artists, man. I don't know. So
wait, you were late for the opening or wait for what?
I was late there. I think I got there like 15 minutes before it was over, which. Yeah, but I still felt so much love from the people.
I know I saw you there, and I was like, I got a hug. I remember seeing you there.
15 minutes before it was over. So just like today, I'm a creative. So I actually sold these outfits. I'll show y'all, what I got on today.
The land is fresh.
10 minutes before I left. And I made, my Root for Cleveland shirt. But so let me say the real part, which could help the artists. It's like, if give us a platform, and I know it's policy, we got to have rules in this, but it's like if we can be free, Yeah, just let us be free. So I have to just say on air because I don't know who to address it to, but I did a painting of Mayor Bibb, and he loved it. He was smiling like ear to ear. So he made me feel good. He tapped me on the shoulder. He said, "This is my guy right here," and this was just randomly. So I thought that was cool. Yeah. But City Hall, they took it down because they didn't want it to look like propaganda. So again, I just want to put that on air. This is like an artist, something I had to go through, where it's like y'all almost took my voice, whoever that was. It's like I did it because I liked the man. You know, he inspired me. So you know, just upcoming whoever hears it, it's like that's, you know, give us a platform and don't take it from us. It's like don't hinder us, and I think that's what could make this world better. You know, I know we need rules, but let an artist be an artist, man.
And two, like, you know, you having the freedom of expression, because that's what art is all about, right? And so we can't limit our artists and their expression, and also, you know, it's so much it's needed right now. You know, it's definitely needed. But that's what Futureland is all about. You know what I'm saying? That's why we want to give you all the platforms to be able to be yourself, and the voice as well, because it's a younger version of you out there who's listening in like, wow, I didn't know all of this was possible. You know, and so we're guiding the next generation. So we just appreciate that. So I definitely want to kick it back to you if you want to chime in on that part of the conversation about where do you see, you know, the future of this Cleveland Renaissance in art.
I would love to see the momentum continue to build, and for that to look like advocacy for the arts, because that's what it's going to take. People's voices, opinions, engagement, energy, and passion to continue to drive the arts scene forward, and it's not just about driving the arts scene forward. It's about driving Cleveland forward, because arts and culture is intertwined with our lives every day, and you know, it intersects with health and wellness. When we think about all the many creatives that are really thinking about health and wellness in their creative practice, whether it's through poetry, whether it's through theater. I've seen examples of it through every art form, of people who are just really passionate about helping people to heal and experience joy. And that type of energy is really important. Where do I see that going? I see more people forming collectives, more people empowering themselves to create their own creative enterprise. I see more entrepreneurship with inspiring things like Futureland happening, and like you just talked about the younger generation of folks coming up. Like, we want to make things easier for them to be artists or arts administrators. I also want to talk about people who work behind the scenes at arts organizations, because that's been my role, and it's just as fulfilling, and it really helps things to grow in. And we need more diversity and more people and engagement in thinking about supporting and sustaining the arts as well. I talked a little bit about arts districts earlier, and in our neighborhoods. That is a trend I don't see going away, and I don't want to call it a trend, because it makes it sound like it's going to reverse itself or it will end at some point. I see, you know, I was on a Zoom earlier with some folks in California who were talking about some of the policy things they were doing there throughout the state of California. Like, the state of California, they are looking at arts districts, and I want to be careful about talking about arts districts, because we all know that arts and culture also has been used to drive gentrification. And when I'm talking about arts districts, I want to be very careful to say that for us and those of us who are working on thinking about arts districts and reimagining neighborhoods, reinvesting in neighborhoods that have systemically been forgotten about and not invested in, and like neighborhoods on our east side especially, like, we are being very, very careful to bring people's voices to the table at the onset, so that we're putting in place anti-gentrification measures, because we're thinking about how to lift up the indigenous folks who have been resilient and living in neighborhoods and not making it such that it increases property values so much that people feel like they can't stay there. So I just want to be very careful in talking about arts districts and things like that not as a form of gentrification, but as a form of advancing and investing in parts of our city that have not had that level of investment. But
so good,
but
yeah, no, that's good. That's really
Deidre,
good.
she's very knowledgeable.
Yeah, and she's breaking it down for us, and we
breaking
need
it
that
down.
knowledge. You know,
Absolutely.
that's what this platform is all about. So,
Absolutely.
We do want to close with you, Sammy. I want to ask you this: the advice you can give to the younger version of yourself. You know, and this is going to also be inspiration for other young artists out here who might not understand what it takes. But they need to see, you know, somebody who's been doing it successfully, and now you have been able to pay the way. And so, what would you tell them?
Talking to myself, man, don't take it personal and just do the work. You can't get around doing the work. So that's, you know, they say the thing about the 10,000 hours. Yeah, is you practice, you're gonna get better, or you at least gonna be better than yesterday. And if not, you know, try different. But no, I think it's just that. Don't take it personal. Just do the work, man. I wish I can tell or jump into somebody to tell them how to believe in yourself. But you have to love yourself. You got to value yourself. Let me share this quick testimony. I thought loving myself was just taking a shower and lining myself up. But, you know, I'm starting to realize it's more than that. And once you can really start loving who you are, which is maybe that attitude of gratitude, maybe it start there. But yes, do the work. Do the work.
I love
that's
that.
what I tell the young
That's
artists.
part of the work, the gratitude, right? Yeah, that's good. Miss Deidre, for you, what would you tell your younger self? The violin playing.
I would say, you know, as a young person, I didn't realize, and I didn't know anything about creative careers, from being an artist to working for an arts organization, or even about entrepreneurship. So I would tell my younger self that, and young people who are interested in arts and entertainment, that there's a space for you. You know, if you're passionate about arts and culture, you can do it. And there are people who are going to help you along the way. And just stay true to yourself, and continue. Never stop learning. Never stop learning about things that you're passionate about, things that make you wonder. You know, just anything you're curious about. Just deepen that curiosity and apply yourself. And don't be afraid to reach out to people who are where you want to be. You know, reach out to the Sammys, you know, and reach out to people who have reached that level that you want to be at. Do that informational interview. I did quite a few of those as a young person, and found my mentors that way.
All right. Well, I hope this conversation has been, you know, enlightening for those who are listening. I had a great time. How about you, Nikki B?
Yes, it was amazing. It was great.
So we thank y'all for tuning in. And much love to our guests on y'all future endeavors. And we appreciate y'all being a part of the Futureland 365 show and podcast.
All right,
thank you so much.
That's it. That's all.
Hey.
Futureland 365. Till next time.
Moving
Peace.
on up.
Moving on. Futureland, what's up? Yeah.